17 to order. If you'd please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. And please let the record note that some council members are present this evening. Brian von Lossberg is missing this evening. Councilwoman Swaney is missing this evening. Councilwoman Cares is missing, but we got everyone else. And Jim Nugent, it's a rare absence. He's at a conference, so. We have the minutes of the meeting of October 2nd. Without objection, they'll be approved. Seeing none, we'll move on to our schedule of committee meetings. Ms. Rabine.
Thanks. So let's see, what have we got for committees this week? Administration and Finance Committee will meet this coming Wednesday, the 18th, beginning at 8:15 in the morning and going to 8:35. Public Safety and Health Committee will follow from 8:40 to 9:55. Parks and Conservation will meet from 10 o'clock to 10:15. Land Use and Planning Committee will meet from 10:20 in the morning until 11:20. And the Public Works Committee will round out the day, meeting from 11:25 in the morning till 12:25 in the afternoon. And all of those meetings are being held right here in the City Council chambers. Our address is 140 West Pine.
Thank you, Ms. Rabine. Any changes to the committee schedule? Seeing none of those, we'll move on to the public comment portion of our agenda. This is your opportunity to comment on items not elsewhere on the agenda this evening. Mr. Pale.
Hi, John Paoli. I'm on Parkwood in Ward 2. I just wanted to follow up with a little verbal response to the letter I sent to you all a week and a half ago regarding the Festival of the Dead. The Missoula Festival of the Dead is a festival which includes all cultures. In fact, by embracing and respecting all cultures, it enriches our own culture and being. Sharing and learning from other cultures unites us all. Being insular and self-serving only acknowledges an entity of one. The festival tries to embrace, engage, and learn from all cultures. If one really desires a monoculture, just look back to Nazi Germany to know the harm caused by believing one culture is more deserving than another. This festival, with its classes, workshops, and events, works across all age and cultural groups of this valley. They provide an outlet and a learning experience to honor and respect those who came before us. At the initial kickoff gathering, there was a period where all present could share a memory or a tribute. I was quite moved when a young white woman started to tell her story. She was in a tragic car accident near Avon. Her partner was killed. He was Mexican. Now she is confused because is she not to honor her partner? This festival has always been more than a cultural crossover. It is catharsis for however someone chooses to show it. We need to accept all cultures, learn from and experience all cultures, not to exclude. In this festival, we do need to honor and pay homage to those who came before us, whatever culture they may be. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other general public comment this evening? Ms. Matthew Jenkins.
Candy Matthew Jenkins, 1211 Cooper Street. I am always remiss at interjecting maybe my reasons for reading from the Soviet art of brainwashing. So I want to update people that don't understand why I'm doing this. The Soviet art of brainwashing, a synthesis of Russian textbook on psychopolitics. Psychopolitics, the art and science of asserting and maintaining dominion over the thoughts and loyalties of individuals, officers, bureaus, masses, and affecting the conquest of enemy nations through mental healing. And aside, there are in the works now orders for every child to have a mental health screening working its way across the country. The basis for the psychopolitics is found in address by Lavrent Pavlik Beria. You must labor until we have dominion over the minds and bodies of every important person in your nation. You must achieve such disrepute for the state of insanity and such authority over its pronouncement that not one statesman so labeled could again be given credence by his people. You must work until suicide arising from mental imbalance is common and calls forth no general investigation or remark. With the institutions for the insane, you have in your country prisons that can hold millions of persons and can hold them without civil rights or any hope of freedom. Upon these people can be practiced shock and surgery, so they will never again draw a sane breath.
And that's 3 minutes, Ms. Matthew Jenkins. Thank you. Any other general public comment this evening? Mr. Moore.
I attended the debate between you and Lisa at the school and today at the City Club. And then I read this letter to the editor by Anna Marie Klaus from Missoula. And it just sort of struck me. The letter says, our Klaus family wants all the new city residents to know Mayor John Engen. I don't know why she doesn't want the present residents, which I think would be good. A true Missoula product. He was raised in a house on 2nd Street, attended Wilder School, graduated from Hellgate High School and the Journalism School at the University of Montana. He told friends as a guest speaker, one of the Hellgate graduating classes that he too was one of the graduates who sat in those 2 chairs over there. I don't know what that paragraph means. He is aware of the past problems and future possibilities. When personal problems beset him, he sought medical help and succeeded. He brought his weight problem to a halt, and we congratulate him. He knows Missoula's problems too and seeks to solve them. Stay with John Engen with your vote, and you can't go wrong. As y'all may guess from my past comments, I would disagree with that. I submitted a question at the Porter School thing to the League of Women Voters, and they refused to ask you and Lisa, or the 3 or 4, I mean it was, that were running for city council. For the run for city council, my question, I think this is 90% correct. if you are elected team member and the mayor is an alcoholic, what would you do? I guess I'm saying, why was nothing done when you were admitted a recovering alcoholic? But more important, what I would like to know, now, are you still a recovering alcoholic? And I think you have the responsibility to let the citizens of Missoula know whether that problem is 100% behind you. I've heard for years that you're never over that. You just have to watch it. So I would offer you the chance to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Any other general public comment this evening? All right, seeing none, we will move on to our consent agenda. Items on that agenda were approved unanimously in City Council standing committees. We saved a little time on Monday evenings by considering these items all at once. Ms. Rabine will read the list of consent agenda items aloud, and we'll invite comment before we vote. Ms. Rabine.
Thanks. Tonight's consent agenda has 8 items, and the first, as always, are the city's accounts payable, which we refer to as claims. The first item is to ratify claims in the amount of $835,515.56 for checks that were dated October 10th, 2017. Number 2 is to approve claims in the amount of $675,000 and $98, 675,098.05 for checks that are dated tomorrow, October 17th, 2017. Number 3 is to approve Appendix C of the city's maintenance agreement with Montana Department of Transportation. We affectionately refer to them as MDT here, for asphalt resurface maintenance work on the Russell Street Bridge, and authorizing the mayor to sign the agreement with the MDOT for completed resurfacing of the Russell Street Bridge, in which MDT has agreed to pay the city for all of the costs. Number 4 is to adopt addendum 2017-2018 residential and priority routes section adjustments for frequent heavy snowfall events as an addition to the street division's snow and ice control plan. In English, that is an amendment to our ice and snow control plan. Number 5 is to set a public hearing for November 6, 2017 on a resolution amending the annual appropriations for the city of Missoula, Montana, as set forth in the fiscal year 2018 budget and capital improvement program that increases the total city budget expenditures by $20,000 and appropriate the storm water utility fund expenditures in the amount of $20,000 in order to set aside contingency funds for the Karis Park Outfall project. Number 6 is to set a public hearing on October 23rd, 2017 concerning the pledge of the city's revolving fund for pooled special sidewalk, curb gutter, and alley approach bonds, Series 2017. Number 7 is to appoint Mr. Bruce Haroldson to the Historic Preservation Commission for the alternate 2 position, beginning immediately and ending on December 31st of 2018. And finally, number 8 is the first reading and preliminary adoption for an ordinance for setting a public hearing on November 6, 2017, and preliminarily adopting an ordinance of the Missoula City Council amending Missoula Municipal Code Title 10, Chapter 10.22, Section 10.22.070, titled Parking Prohibited in Specified Places, in order to prohibit parking in a bicycle lane or a bicycle path designated for exclusive use of bicycles or within 40 feet of a transit stop.
Thank you, Ms. Rabine. Any questions or comments from council members? Mr. Wilkins.
So I got a comment on number 8, and since it's gone for a public hearing, I'm not going to pull it up, but I would like to talk about it just a second. I talked to Ben Wise. I was hoping that somewhere in that ordinance we could put an exception in case, mine is like 39th Street. So there's no parking along 39th Street, but if a lady had a Tupperware party and the driveway's full, you can't expect old ladies to walk 2 blocks to get to the house. So I would like to see an exceptions in it. There's probably other places that the same thing could go. So anyway, think about it. I asked Ben to see if he could hammer out something, and we'll see what happens.
Further discussion? Anyone in the audience care to comment on any of the items on the consent agenda? Mr. Moore.
I saw in the claims to be paid where you're writing a $27,000 check to the law firm. It only says professional fees. I've asked that you actually put in there what it is. The list and the text both just say professional fees. I suspect you don't want the public to know that it's for Mountain Water. And I'm assuming it's Mountain Water. I don't really know. I assume it is. And I request that you not approve that. I think they've been paid enough. Thank you.
Anyone else on the consent agenda this evening? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
On the consent agenda, items 1 through 8. Armstrong. Armstrong votes yes. Bentley. Bentley votes yes. DeBari. DeBari votes yes. Hadall. Hadall votes yes. Hess. Hess votes yes. Jones. Jones votes yes. Marler. Marler votes yes. West. West votes yes. And Wilkins. Wilkins votes yes. Would any of you like to change your vote? That is 9 ayes and 3 absent.
And the consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to comments from city staff, agencies, boards, commissions, authorities, and the community forum. We do have a report from the Southgate Triangle General Meeting this evening. Mr. Hagman.
Yes, thank you for having me. We had our general meeting for our Southgate Triangle neighborhood meeting last week, and happy to announce that we have a full slate finally of representatives. We have 7 of us, which is nice. We are also very excited about development of the Bellevue Park and the bike skills path. That is something we've been looking forward to for a long time, and we're moving on with that. We established our priorities for this coming year in order. The things that we feel are important for us in the Southgate Triangle is the Muttman stations on 39th and 36th. We have 1, but we need more. The park's getting a lot of use. Continue to develop the Bellevue Park, and I understand, like I said, the bike skills park is going to move forward. And then snow removal in the Bellcrest area, that was a big thing this year. Hopefully we don't have another year like that. And then repave 34th Street, and crosswalk is needed at Ernest and Russell, and we need to spray weeds at Belleville Park. That was the top 7 items for our neighborhood council meeting. We had about 25 people there, which is a pretty good turnout for us. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Pardon me. We will move on to communications from the mayor. It turns out there aren't any this evening. We'll start general comments from council members with Ms. Armstrong, Ms. West, Mr. DeBari.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Paoli for coming down and sharing his thoughts. I thought they were well put together, and I share many of them.
Ms. Bentley, Mr. Hess, Mr. Wilkins.
Well, I'd just like to thank the city of Missoula for my 10-year pin and a nice certificate they gave us.
Ms. Marler.
I think that the Valor House sock drive is coming up. Is that happening pretty soon? And I just wanted to let people know that Mr. Wilkins has been collecting socks for homeless vets for many years, and I'm trying to remember to bring my socks in on time, so I thought I'd mention it to the whole group.
Ms. Hedall and Ms. Jones.
Thank you. I have 2 things tonight. First, I wanted to announce that the Missoula Coalition on Aging and Disability is having a feature presentation on dementia-friendly communities, a community that is informed, safe, respectful, and supportive of individuals with dementia and their families. If you are interested in going, it is this Wednesday, October 18th, from 6 until 8 o'clock at night, 6 in the evening until 8 in the evening at the University of Montana in the Todd Building, which is located just behind the University Center in room 204. So that's something perhaps of interest to people out there. And then I wanted to return to the Day of the Dead topic. We're talking a lot about this these days. Last time I spoke a couple of weeks ago, I had shared that my exposure to the Day of the Dead festivities in Southern California had been a different take on it than what Missoula does. But I hoped that there would be some discussions between the groups and they could work it out and get to a better place. And it was interesting, last Thursday and Friday, I was at the University of Montana Law School Public Lands Forum, continuing education class, which normally legal education classes are not that exciting, but I have to tell you, every 2 years they put this on, the law school does, and it is fascinating. And the focus this year was natural resources and energy development and public lands, which, as you can imagine, are highly contentious issues in the American West. And they had some amazing speakers, and over again, there were examples of situations that did not work and situations that did work. And there have been scenarios where energy companies come in and spend a huge amount of time truly working with the community, figuring out the right approach. And sometimes those are successful instead of turning into litigation and bleeding everyone dry. And I took away from that, the main theme was really when people work together with respect and they communicate and they collaborate, you can get to a better place. And I think all of our cultures are borrowing from this and that. The English language is the richest language in the world because it's a big medley of so many languages. And our culture is that too. So I really hope that the different entities that have strong opinions on the Day of the Dead have some respectful, polite discourse and figure out how our community can go forward and have a constructive situation. And I also wanted to say, you know, they talk about Lake Wobegon has, well, all of the children are above average. I think Missoula also has that situation, and we all are above average in Missoula. So I really hope that the parties come together and can have some good discourse and figure out something that works. And maybe they take a year off and come back next year with a great fix. Thank you.
We have no committee reports this evening. There are no items of new business. Are there any additional items to be referred? Seeing none of those, any miscellaneous reports, communications, petitions, or announcements? Mr. Wilkins.
So thanks to Marilyn, I almost forgot, but I am starting the annual thing, raising socks for Valor House and for homeless veterans. And I'll give you the brief little story why it's socks. During World War II and World War I, when our soldiers were in trenches, their feet got trench foot because they were always wet. Even in Vietnam, during the monsoon, our feet were always wet. And clean socks were just like getting an apple pie. So hopefully that you will all donate socks for Valor House.
And with that, as always, I thank you for your service. We will be adjourned.